Yes.
I wanted to do Judge Hatchett. I Queen Quet, since they want to keep their mouth sealed on you. I wanted to just say I am really honored to have you here in the Gullah Geechee Nation, for you to come back home. And I'm really impressed with the fact that you are on Facebook and various other places where people can reach out and get more beyond the show. And I know that when you're in the position you're in as a judge, I'm sure a lot of people will come to you not only with the issues you just described, but even legislative issues that might be going on about communities and culture. Being from, like you said, roots in Florence, have you thought about anything that you might be addressing in any of your future projects that might involve getting people to understand assets, not only their cultural and personal assets that you talked about, but then the tie into land and land ownership? Because here in the Gullah Geechee Nation, that's been our major issue, is a lot of people get displaced from their land, and then now they're disenfranchised. So then the result is a lot of the other things you named in the statistics earlier. So have you thought about something that might couple that? And at any time you want to do one of your interventions and send somebody here to work in the field and stuff, we got plenty of that here. Yes. Okay.
I have not thought about that specifically.
Okay.
But that is something absolutely I will put in the process, because as we're talking about our assets in terms of rich cultural assets, we've also got to have solid financial assets.
Absolutely.
And the economic viability of our community, which I believe that we've got to do. I do talk about a little bit in the first book, I have a whole chapter about money and parenting and how we ought to be having these conversations with our children. But it is something, to your point specifically, no, I have not thought about how to incorporate that into it. I'd be interested in posing a question to the group, and then I'll tell you what I think, about the emphasis or the conversation that's been happening in the country around the rash of murders that we've seen with young people in Chicago. Anybody got any thoughts about what's happening? And I'd like to understand, as young men, what's your take on this? And what are you thinking about this?
I think as a whole, not so much that we've lost our faith, but we really don't take on the responsibility of respecting of other people. We really don't have the respect of the days of old. And everything to us this day is all about self. We don't have the respect that we used to have, even for the elders, for women of our community.
Yes.
Nothing is really important anymore. And unless you have hope in something foundation, then you're really just going to be out there lost.
Yeah, it's like having an anchor. Yes.
I think that not most people, but in some part of the statistics, some people come from different homes, and some of those homes are broken, and they turn to, I guess you want to say, gangs or cliques, just to feel accepted. And to feel accepted, not most of the time, but you have to go out and do all these different things. And after living in that life for so long, it's kind of like hard to part from that. And it's like a way of life where you think that they do something to me, I'm automatic. I have to jump back, and I have to do this.
You're right. This whole need to be accepted, to be a part of something. And what I'm saying is that we got to flip the script. We have got to have our family so strong, our community so strong, that kids don't want to be tied to that mess, that they'd rather be tied to the positive things. Like they want to come here and go to school. They see you as role models, and they're saying to themselves, I can be at that school too. I can go and I can get a degree. I can go on and I can be responsible. I don't need to be out here gangbanging.
Right.
I don't need to be out here selling drugs. I don't need all this and that. But are there any other of the men in the program would respond to his comment and his observation? Anybody else?
Well, not necessarily. I don't mean to go off topic. Not necessarily to the topic that I response to, but usually about the gang violence you were saying earlier. One of the main problems, which I can see, is that hatred is spreading a lot. Usually about from past instances and from personal experience that I got. And if I can say that. If you could reach out to them from a personal level and be more one-on-one, maybe that could change things from perspective. But it's usually, I honestly believe it's usually up to the individual to say, I'm gonna change. Because I was just telling Mr. Burgess earlier, he was right, because he told me one time, he said, I really want you to succeed. I really do. But unless you tell yourself, that I'm the one that have to make it happen, then it's not gonna happen.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. I just wanted to say to Franchot, I'm one of the advisors for PILAU. And I am one of the people, when you say the community leader, that's what I'm here for. I was elected to be the head of state for the Gullah Geechee Nation. That's why some of y'all on Facebook, you knew when I was in Geneva, Switzerland. You know wherever I am when I'm in Capitol Hill and so on. But just like was just stated, I can only lead if there's somebody behind me. Otherwise, I'm just walking. Now, if there's something you need, though, because there's 1 million Gullah Geechees that live here. That don't count the ones that don't. So I got to hear from all kind of people what they need. But if I never hear of a need, I can't do nothing about it. Now, in your situation, there are a lot of attorneys that are Gullah Geechee attorneys that have firms that I can hook you up with today. And I'm going to call one of them as soon as we leave here and see if he can give you a and he be your mentor in terms of being a paralegal, but also get you a position in that office, because what I'm hearing from you is the economic impact that we were talking about earlier. You still have to eat, ultimately. And so you can't eat your degree once you get it. So then there's more pressure, like the brother is saying, from a lot of haters to say, well, that don't mean nothing. So what now? You went to college and so you still yo with us. But you can do more than that. You don't have to ever succumb to listening to that. You can still continue in motivation. But even as an advisor, I can't advise if I don't know what advice you really need. So I'm glad that you brought that out, because I have boxes of letters from brothers who are incarcerated instead of being in school. So you made a difference here. And so I'm going to help you as much as I can and connect you to some brothers I think will help you further. No problem.
And our time is up. Let me say this to you, that it's really important. I think that the comment that the gentleman made about we can't respond unless we know what your needs are, and the fact that you were courageous enough to give voice to it here, I think speaks volumes.
It does.
And I think that's the first step of getting what you want and going afterwards. But with that comes a responsibility that hooking up with an internship, then there's got to be somebody that you've got to reach back and encourage. Mm-hmm. That with our blessings, we have to pass them on. Mm-hmm. And so I think that that's a big part of this continuum, because again, you will be able to speak to a young African-American man mm-hmm. in a way that she can't.
That's right.
In a way that I can't.
That's right.
In a way that's unique to your experiences that really might make a difference. And what we all have to remember is that the differences that you make in somebody's life and investing in somebody's life is not just going to be in that person's life, but you're making a wonderful head start on their children's children's children. So we have to think of this as transformational work that lasts long after we're gone. And it's not just about you, and it's not just about you, and it's just not about me, but it's about how can we touch and support each other. You got to decide what's important in your life. And then you got to align with people who believe in you and who are going to support you and who are going to nurture you. Because you're investing for the long haul.
Run.
You hear me? The long haul.
Mm-hmm.